With what she termed a 5 years death sentence after contracting the dreaded HIV in her mind, all was lost, and with hopes of dying sooner, recklessly she lived with only one fear of getting pregnant. One night she got raped while on a drinking spree, and her worst nightmare came true. She got pregnant that very night.
So the gynecologist then was really insisting that I have an abortion. So I refused, and to me, in my mind, I was like, God, I was given 5 years, they have elapsed. Now even I'm pregnant out of a rape. Maybe you want me to be a mother, so.
Sadly, during her clinics, no doctor or nurse ever mentioned to her about preventing her child from contracting the virus before and during delivery.
So I got tested again for TB and HIV. They both came positive. So I said, okay, so the virus is still in me, Okay, let me also have my son checked just to see. And he got tested and he also turned positive. That was, if I remember well, that was the darkest day of my life. I cried. Then, above all, I blamed myself. I hated myself. I cursed myself. Why did I do it to him? I would just look at my son and cry and cry and cry. Sometimes he'd look at me, Mom, why are you crying? And, I wouldn't know what to tell him. It was so painful.
Her son, now 10 years old, can still vividly remember their dark moment in life.
Alikuanga na vitonda na alikuanga weak sana. Hashinda kikuwa mgonjwa. Na pia alikuanga pia na nini. Amekonda, alikuwa karibu kukufa. Alikuwa naona anakaribia kufa. Lakini mimi tulikuanga ninaomba.
They say information is power, and this applies to Simaloi, since after learning of the EMTCT, she is now a mother to a healthy, bouncing baby boy. But this did not leave her without criticism from friends and relatives who shared ideas of the past on HIV transmission to babies.
Most of my friends were like, how could you? You've already infected one. Why do you want to have another one? Of course, my nipples cracked. I even had to get a breastfeeding counselor. I was all shaky, I was all jittery, and God, I don't want to infect this baby, but I want him to have a good immunity. When you breastfeed, baby gets a proper immunity, unlike when you formula feed.
Her second son, who is 8 months old, is free from HIV, as the mother narrates joyfully.
But the smiles I was getting at the clinic already, they were assuring enough. So, and they're like, oh, by the way, did we tell you he's PCR negative? Oh, he is. Yes. And I was shown he's PCR negative. Oh, thank God. So when we tested, of course, I was all shaky. Oh, and I had my major supporter, my son. He's like, now this one, let's prevent him, Imagine my son has even accepted, yes, his fate is his fate, but let's prevent this one, And if that's why he's even so keen on me taking my medication, because we don't want to infect this little one, see.
Every day, he freely breastfeeds, as the mother is on lifetime ARVs program.
If you put on part ARVs, then your baby when born will be put on part ARVs also. And then you breastfeed exclusively for 6 months, then you stop immediately. Don't continue, because then you increase the chances of transmitting again to the baby. For those who take the full lifelong ARVs, you can breastfeed even up to 1 year.
Simaloi realized that no child should be infected anymore with HIV. She is now advocating for the prevention of HIV to babies program, taking the message to every doorstep and to every mother she meets.
But for him to have lived that long, for me to have been there to help him, to guide him, I feel like I'm supposed to actually tell other parents who have infected children. First of all, in this day and age, don't infect. No more babies should be infected with the virus, right? And then, for those who have children with the virus, tell them, as early as possible if you want them to cope with it well.
Elimination of mother-to-child transmission of HIV-EMTCT is now the most effective weapon for HIV parents to keeping children alive and healthy if practiced as outlined by health experts. Happily, Simaloy and her 2 sons live on with an encouragement of facing tomorrow. Antonine Odoyo, GBS News.